Welcome back to my channel, even though I hardly upload anything anymore on this. Reasons, I just thought I might as well come back and just do some things, because I did say I was going to do quite a lot of reviews, but I never ended up actually doing that. So, here I am now. Reasons why I don't really do it is because one, I didn't have the time around the time when I said I'll be doing like quite a bit of reviews, there was a lot of stuff that went on, and I just never found time, or I just didn't want to really. Had other stuff going on, and I just didn't find the time, and I didn't find it really I wasn't very keen to do it. But anyway, I've seen a bunch of films this year, so I'm just gonna do them out of 10 and just a quick thing on them. That's all I plan to do. Nothing special really, and I might consider just doing this because it's just for fun. So yeah, I actually made a list. YOLO, am I right? Because I put the notes on my phone and it's too much effort. So just with them like a list here, just out of 10, and I'm just going to give a quick personal view of them. So yeah, here we go. The first film I saw this year was The Hobbit. Even though that film came out last year, I thought I'd see it again in 2013 because the movie is actually really well written and really well done. So I thought I may as well make it as the first film I saw this year, because I love the Lord of the Rings franchise. The franchise is just amazing, one of the best trilogies ever, and really looking forward to the second part in December. So I thought I get The Hobbit a 9 out of 10. I think The Hobbit is just a fantastic film. It really is. Peter Jackson's also has done an amazing job with the franchise. So 9 out of 10 for The Hobbit. And Les Miserables, the French musical with Anne Hathaway, again an Oscar for lasting 20 minutes. Yeah, she won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress, even though she lasted, like I said, 20 minutes of the film. Next I have Movie 43, possibly one of the worst comedies and one of the worst films that I've ever seen. My brother dragged me down to that. Thank you very much for that big pile of shit. It's just, if you haven't seen it, it's just basically compilations of these 43 movies with all these famous actors, and then it has to do something very important. It was just ridiculous. It was stupid, and I just didn't. There were certain bits that were funny, but I didn't like it at all. So that's a 3 out of 10 for Movie 43. After that, I saw Gangster Squad. Saw that film twice. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. The first part was very good. The second part I thought was too bit actiony, so it kind of went away from the tone towards the end of it. But for that, I would just give that a 7 out of 10. It was a good film. I quite enjoyed it. After that, I saw Bullet to the Head, the Sylvester Stallone movie. That was kind of a disappointment because I was really looking forward to it. I thought by the trailer, I thought, yeah, this looks pretty awesome, but I left with my head a bit down. I didn't really particularly enjoy it. Not that Sylvester Stallone's bad. I mean, I do like Sylvester Stallone, but not one of his best movies, so I'll just give that a 6. And after I saw Hitchcock, played by Anthony Hopkins, that was a surprise one for me. I actually ended up loving that film. I thought it was a really, really good film. Anthony Hopkins was a fantastic Hitchcock, I think, along with Helen Mirren. I think that's her name anyway, but them two did a fantastic job, so I get that 7 out of 10. I thought it was one of those surprise ones that I didn't think I enjoyed, but I actually ended up really loving it. And then Die Hard 5, you can't go wrong with John McClane in Russia, being a Russian mobster, so that's all you have to say really. If you just want to go see John McClane kick ass when it comes out on Blu-ray or DVD, go and get it. 7 out of 10 for Die Hard, because you're going to get what it says on the tin. This is 40 is sort of a sequel to, sort of a spin-off from Knocked Up. I love Knocked Up, one of my favourite comedy films ever. But this one was died away from me. The one part I'd give this movie the rating is because Melissa McCarthy. I'm not sure if you know the big chubby lady out of she did this film called Identity Thief, but I never got around to seeing that. She was in Mike and Molly. You probably know her now. She's in a new movie now that just came out called The Heat. She plays a part in that, and that movie just made it for me. I thought she made that, so I gave that a 6 out of 10. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, Jeremy Renner and Gemma Arterton, that's her name. That was awesome. I quite enjoyed that. One was again a little surprise one. I thought it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So for that, 7 out of 10. Mama is next after that. Mama, I don't know. I sort of liked it, sort of didn't. I liked what they tried to do with it, but I wasn't fully 100% with it, so I'll give that a 6. It was quite disappointing. Broken City, no, that was a fantastic film. Like, it was more political, but I'm not one for political films. Yeah, if you can hear that in the background, the Xbox friends coming on, it's because I'm watching Breaking Bad currently on Netflix. That's a fantastic show as well so far. But if you keep hearing that, that means, extra live for you. So, but yeah, Broken City, Mark Wahlberg, Russell Ozzy, who was he, Ozzy? Yeah, Russell Crowe. That was fantastic. More political than I thought it was going to be, but it was still, I ended up really enjoying it. So, 6 out of 10 for. Sorry, 8 out of 10 for Broken City. Parker. Oh, sorry, no, before that, I've just spoiled it now. But Wonderstone with Steve Carell and the one looks like a fish. I can't remember his name. Again, that was really funny. I went to that. My brother, he dragged me along to that, and ended up really enjoying it. So, yeah, I give 7 out of 10 for Wonderstone. Then Parker was after that. Probably my least favorite Jason Statham film. I thought it was too dull. He tried to do something different, like not the typical Statham that runs out on actiony. And this one, he's more. He has a reason behind his killing. He only finds a reason to try and kill. But I didn't really particularly enjoy Parker. So for that, I gave that a 6 out of 10. And after that, Red Dawn. This is a sort of reboot of the 19 whatever year that was, where the kids in Korea invade. I think it was the northern and south part of America, like the ocean line view of America. It had Josh Pekin from Drake and Josh. If you don't know, that was one of my teenage shows. I just adored when I was, like I say, a teenager. And he was in it along with Chris Hemsworth, and that was just if you want a film that just goes all out action for no reason, just stupidity action, you go and see Red Dawn's definitely one of those. So Red Dawn was an 8 out of 10 for me. Then I saw The Croods. Okay, that's enough much to talk about that. I'm not one for animation films, so I'll just give that a 7 out of 10. Plus Nicolas Cage was in it, and I don't like Nicolas Cage, so 7 out of 10 for The Croods. And after that, Jack the Giant Slayer. Worst mistake of the year. Jack the Giant Slayer. Worst mistake of the year. There's only one part in that. It is a spoiler where they're coming back from the stalker. They're riding back to the castle. There's a sequence when they're running on the field with their horses, and the giants come out. You have this like 5-minute action sequence. It was like a chase back to the castle with the giants smashing their whatever the big stalk things that they have. That sequence made the movie for me. So the only reason why I'm giving it a rating is because of that that scene. So 4 out of 10 for Jack the Giant Slayer. And Trance, possibly the best film of the year was Trance with James McAvoy. I don't know any of the actors' names. Is the one who was from Vin Castle. I think that's the other one of the dudes in it. But that film was probably the best film I've seen this year. Trance. It's if not, go and look it up. What it's about. It's quite complicated to explain, but it is so worth it. It was absolutely a fantastic movie. Trance is like a psychological. Like he doesn't see this therapist and tries to uncover that like one of the painting was stolen. I can't remember. It's been ages since I last saw it, but it was so worth it. I remember me and my brother coming out of that. I said that was fantastic. My brother was like, I got confused. So it was again, just look up Trance. It was fantastic. One of the best films this year. And then after that, so G.I. Joe Retaliation. I'm not one for G.I. Joe, to be honest, but Dwayne Johnson was in it and Bruce Willis and all that, so I thought, yeah, why not? And I ended up really enjoying it. Again, it was a bit like Red Dawn, it was just over-the-top action, but it was enjoyable. So 7 out of 10 for G.I. Joe. And then Oblivion. I think that's one of my disappointments of this year so far was Oblivion with Tom Cruise and the other lady and Morgan Freeman. That was definitely one of the disappointments of this year. I felt the story was just a bit stupid. You've seen it before. If you've seen a movie called Moon, then you know what I'm on about. Or was it Apollo 13? It was one of those films. It's just exactly the same thing and exactly the same storyline. So that was probably the biggest letdowns of 2013 was Oblivion. So I get that 6.5 out of 10. It was quite a bit disappointment. And Scary Movie 5 again. I can't stand the Scary Movie franchises. I hate them to bits. But my mate James dragged me down to it. And at the end of the movie, he actually apologised to me for saying, I'm sorry I made you watch that. And I was like, because what we do is have two choices. Like I choose one and he chooses one. We usually go and see 2 movies on a weekend. So he chose Scary Movie, which I gave 5 out of 10. And then it was my movie that I chose that he actually really loved and I loved as well. It was one of the surprise films of this year that I actually ended up really enjoying it. It was like one of those under the radar films, but it was one of those where I was amazed by it. It's Dark Skies. I don't know. It's like, again, a psychological thrillers about this family being terrorized by like some aliens, but no one really believes them. It has a typical storyline, to be fair, with the aliens, and nobody believing them, and only one person does, and it hits the fan as soon as that happens. But it was really enjoyable. It actually has some really good jump scare moments in it, so I'll give that an 8 out of 10. And then after that was Iron Man 3. I saw that film twice as well, and it was better than number two. Number two was probably the worst one for me. The only best part was Michael Rourke's Whiplash. I thought he was awesome in that, but the rest of it was just a big disappointment for Iron Man 2. But in this one, with the Mandarin, it had a really good twist with that. I can probably really say, just in case no one has watched it, but definitely one of those where it was enjoyable but not as good as you'd hope to be. So 6 out of 10 for Iron Man 3. And then Evil Dead, 9 out of 10. I can just say that straight away. 9 out of 10 for The Evil Dead, the remake from the 1984 classic, I think. Yeah, so it was around that time. Just brilliant. Loads of blood, lots of gore, just everything you want from a horror film. It was just awesome. That's all I can say for it. It was just over the top blood and very cringy. You had to look away at some parts, which my uncle said, but I actually didn't. Stop it! Go away. I actually didn't look away that much, but it was a really good watch, so definitely going to see The Evil Dead. We'll get it when it comes out on DVD. After that, Olympus Has Fallen. Again, it was one of those where it was a lot of action, but it was very enjoyable. With the Koreans take over the White House and only one ex-agent was in there. Kicks the living shit out of them. But it was enjoyable action, so 7 out of 10 for Olympus Has Fallen, Jared Butler's film. And after that, Fast and Furious 6, you can't go wrong with Fast and Furious 6. I'm not a person of cars. I know type engines, tyres, models of cars in general. I don't know nothing about them. But this one was fantastic. Probably, I wouldn't say as good as number 5, but it's so close. It's so close. A bit like The Dark Knight Rises. It wasn't as good as Dark Knight, but it was close. So 9 out of 10 for Fast and Furious. And again, another movie I'm giving a 9 out of 10 was Star Trek Into Darkness. I can't remember. I was going to say Cucumber. I can't pronounce. I don't know his first name. His last name is Patch or something like that. He who plays Khan in it. He was absolutely outstanding in that film. And the movie in general. I'm not a big Star Trek fan, but this movie kept me entertained throughout. I loved every bit of it. So Star Trek was a 9 out of 10. And The Hangover. Never been a big fan of Hangover. The first one was okay, the second one was garbage, and this one was just even more garbage. It's the garbage takes out the garbage, and that garbage goes into another garbage. It's just shit. So 2 out of 10 for The Hangover. Can't stand them in general. And possibly Zach Galifianakis' character is probably one of the most annoying characters I've ever seen in a film. Then after that, I actually saw a film that I would never thought I'd see. Was called Epic, and the animation films where she gets shrunk and has to defend a group of tree leaves from the evil stalk dudes, whatever their name is. But that was so enjoyable. I really enjoyed that, so giving that 7 out of 10. And then The Great Gatsby. After that, there's a lot of films I've seen this year. It's Cineworld Limited cards for you. They're just fantastic. But The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, and some other dude's name I can't remember. It was more of a tragic love story, that film was, but I'm not one for tragic love stories, but this one was fantastic. I really enjoyed every moment of it. Again, I dragged my friend James down to see it with me, and he ended up coming out really enjoying it. We're not big fans of those type of films, but it was a really good film, so I get that. Great Gatsby, 9 out of 10. Definitely one to get. And after that, The Purge with Ethan Hawke, I think his name is, and it's a woman. She played Jared Butler's wife in 300. Leonidas' his wife in 300. I know it was her for a fact. But I'm in between with this one. I saw this film twice because my brother had no one else to go with, so I said I'd go with him again to see it. The first time I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good idea. Whoa. I thought it was a really good idea. But when you watch it the second time, there were so many bad things I saw in it. But it's a shame really, because The Purge, I think, if it had the right amount of money and the right amount, the right director and the right people, the idea that they had for it, it could have been a really good film. I think, a really good idea. It's like, if you haven't noticed, I'll just quickly tell you, crime is legal for 12 hours, and so basically you can do whatever they want for 12 hours, and then the family's kid actually takes in somebody, and later on you find out it's actually a hobo that some people wanted to purge, or to cleanse their soul, and just to basically kill him, and they wouldn't give him over. And that escalated from there, and shit hit the fan. But the first time I really enjoyed it, second time not so much, so I give it a 6 out of 10 for it. But it had a really good idea, it had some really good potential, in my opinion anyway. Then after that I saw The Iceman with Michael Shannon. That film was fantastic. It was based on a true story about an actual assassin in the 1960s. I can't remember much from there, but I remember seeing it, and it was fantastic. One of the good surprise packages of this summer. It's one of those films that were really good, but only on for a certain amount of time. It was a bit like Drive or Hummingbird, like another Statham film, that is only on for a limited amount of time before the big blockbusters come out. But it was fantastic, so a 9 out of 10 for The Iceman, Michael Shannon. Then after that, we saw the